What is going on, y'all? It's Wes here, and we are here making a brand new video. This is not the scheduled content that I had planned, but because the full day of eating video went so well and you guys are dropping some comments on there, instead of going back and forth with you guys in the comments, I decided let's just make a video addressing some of the comments and yeah, just giving you guys all my thoughts and takes on the topic. Quick caveat, a lot of this is my anecdotal evidence. So, I mean, sure, there's not like a study for everything that I'd be saying, but when you think about these things logically, and if you have any type of experience with this, what I'm saying is gonna make sense. So, I mean, fact check me if I'm wrong, but if you don't look like me, I'm natural, you can at least use that as a metric to be like, well, something I'm saying and doing is working. So, I mean, take what I say with a grain of salt, but the proof is in the pudding. So, what we're gonna be talking about today is how much protein you need in a cut, or how much protein is too much, or whatever, just like how much protein you should be eating. So before we get right into that, I just wanna address the purpose of a cut. So the purpose of a cut is to lose as much body fat as possible while maintaining as much muscle as possible. It's not just losing weight, we're trying to specifically lose body fat and maintain, preserve, or even possibly build muscle. During this process, the two main things you need to do is be in a calorie deficit and then give your body the stimulus to preserve and maintain muscle. So to do that, you need to be in a calorie deficit and then be working out and eating the right things to make that happen. So ultimately, the calorie deficit is what determines your weight loss. No matter what exact macros you're eating, the overall calorie deficit determines how much weight you're going to be losing in whatever given period of time. Now, the macros specifically are what's going to determine how you look, how you feel, how you perform, and what's going on internally during this time. So like your carbs are generally gonna give you like energy, determine how you feel that way, if you feel like up or down that day. Your fats also contribute to energy, but they also play a bigger role in the behind the scenes stuff. And then your protein literally is like you. That's the building blocks of what you are, what you use, what makes up you for the most part. There's more nuance to that, but the protein is like the important building block for the situation. Carbs might make you feel a bit better, but if you have a low protein diet, you're definitely going to be burning through your own muscle just because your body has certain processes it just has to go through every day. And if you're not using protein that you're ingesting, it's going to use the muscle that you have on you for that protein source. And that's how you get smaller. That's how you end up literally burning muscle. So you need to be eating enough protein to maintain that, or else you're gonna be burning through your own stores. Okay, so now let's get into exactly how much protein you should be eating. So the general recommendation is 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Personally, that's the minimum. Like, if you want to follow that, sure, it's a good like guideline, but honestly, most people, one, don't get enough protein in general. So you should honestly just be pushing for as much protein as possible. It's not gonna hurt. The other reason I recommend that is because every part of your body, every cell of your body uses protein in one way or another. So you wanna be prioritizing protein in this time period just because that's the thing that's most valuable. So you want to be upping that, getting a lot of protein in. And personally, it's better to overshoot than to undershoot. Like, I'd rather have too much protein than not enough. And I also think that too much protein is a myth because, like I said, your body's gonna find some way to use it regardless. Number 3 now, why protein? Why are we prioritizing protein in this process? So protein isn't just for building muscle. If you don't give your body a reason to build or maintain muscle, it's gonna be like, hey, we don't need this. Let's free up some space, free up some weight because it's strenuous on the body carrying excess weight. So just like if you're carrying too much fat, your body's gonna try to want to burn that off first. If you're carrying too much muscle, your body's gonna be like, hey, let's slim down and not use this. But you have to tell your body that, okay, the environment demands that I have this much muscle, and that is through resistance training. It's funny because the cliche is true. Like, if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you have to tell your body, I need this muscle for a reason, not just aesthetically. Like, that's mentally the reason you might have. Your body has to physically think it needs this much muscle. And that's what the training is for. That's what you're putting your body under these heavy weights for and pushing it off, because your body doesn't know you're just in the gym just cutting it up. Your body thinks, holy crap, the environment is dangerous and we're getting almost crushed every day. We need to be able to push these weights off us, or we need to be able to move these things to get whatever desired goal the brain is trying to get. So resistance training literally tells your body that we need this muscle. So that is why you got to be training hard, pushing, doing all that stuff. And that's literally going to be making use of the protein that you're eating. So when you give your body a reason to, you're pushing those hard weights, you're damaging the muscle, it goes, okay, all this protein that we're putting in, don't just use it to make blood and hair and nails and all these other random processes. Put it towards making muscle, because that's the important thing. That's the thing that we're like burning through every day. You got to build up the muscle. So that's the whole reasoning. We got to eat a lot of protein and be training hard. So this is where I kind of go against the grain in terms of some of the research, because a lot of people go, okay, yeah, I just have this much muscle, get carbs in because that's going to give you energy and crap. No, focus on the protein, because especially in a cut, the less protein you have, that's where your muscles are literally going to shrink. So push the protein as high as possible, make that your main macro. That's going to preserve the muscle you have in this calorie deficit. Like I just kind of mentioned, higher protein preserves the muscle that you have. So why not push that as high as possible, especially when people don't get enough? And another thing, you can still use protein for energy. Your body will convert that protein into glucose once it decides it's had enough. So instead of throwing in carbs that are easily digestible, in your calorie deficit, in your cut, eat protein, because your body's going to have to work that much harder to convert it, which contributes to your calorie deficit, which ultimately makes you lose more weight. So it's like, make your body work harder to convert that protein into glucose. So in short, the high thermic effect of protein makes it so you burn more calories while digesting it. And as well, protein is just more filling. In your cut, you're gonna be more satisfied with having protein in your gut and not being as hungry. You're just gonna be chilling, you're gonna be good, not gonna be eating as frequently, just because that protein is gonna fill you. Whereas if you had carbs, you're gonna be relatively hungry again in 2 seconds. I kind of combine my 4 and 5 thoughts, so I don't know. This is like somewhere in here, like 5 or 6, but you still need to have a healthy amount of fats as well. Just because if you're having straight protein, one that's tough on the kidneys, that's where actually having too much protein is hard on the kidneys. And then you'll develop what's called like rabbit fever or whatever. So you still need a healthy amount of fat, but you want to limit your fat to literally just as much as you need. But the other thing is, you technically don't need carbs to live. Like, you can literally survive for the rest of your life on protein and fat. Carbs are good for like bonus energy, and it bumps you up, makes you feel good. But ultimately, you don't need that to live. So for me, it's a simple choice. It's an easy thing to cut out. So honestly, as long as you're getting enough fat, push the protein as high as possible. And as long as you're training and giving your body a reason to have all that protein, you won't have any negative side effects. You only run into issues if you're eating a ton of protein and not doing anything with it, or only eating protein. Like, that is the extremes of it, and that's where it's bad. But push that protein as high as possible as long as you're working out, man. Like, that's what's gonna preserve you. And generally, you'll look more youthful, you look healthier, your skin, your nails, your joints, your blood, like all that's gonna come with it. Those are good side effects to have during this process. All those other things are gonna be healthier, so why not push it? And then one last little anecdotal thing to think about to tie it all together. So I like using animals in nature as an example. Like, it's always good to look at what's happening in nature, and as humans, we can use this to, extract that information and apply it to our lives. Yes, it's true that the biggest animals on Earth are, for the most part, vegetarians. You have your elephants, your rhinos, your hippos, your gorillas. All of these are big muscular animals, but they have to be eating literally 24/7. Like that's all these animals do. They just graze and they just eat. Oh, and then like the smaller ones, like your just typical or herbivore animals, so like your rabbits, your deer, your typical prey animals. Like those ones, they typically just graze all day. Your cows, stuff like that. Buffalo. These animals just literally eat all day, and that's how they get their size. Or you could be like the carnivores, where they don't eat as often, but they're definitely getting their protein demands by eating the thing that eats all day. So those are your two options. You can either eat all day yourself or eat the thing that eats all day. And I say like the best examples are looking at the big cats, like your tigers, your lions. Look at how muscular they are because they're just eating protein. That's all they're doing. So yeah, those are kind of your options. You can either eat all day yourself to get that size or eat the thing that eats all day, and it's better time-wise. And we as humans have the luxury of living in 2026 as well. We can pick basically whatever we want to do. So just to kind of wrap up, I'm going to answer some comments from the full day of eating video. So first one is from Bra S4Y. I'm not sure if I'm reading that, if that stands for something, but he said, bruh, 338 grams of protein. You don't need that much as a natural. 1.8 to 2.2 grams is enough. Like I just said, that's like the bare minimum, but why not push that? During this whole process, normally they always complain about how weak they are during a cut. At the end of my cut, I was arguably stronger than my last couple cuts. Like I was regularly benching, squatting, deadlifting 315 during this process. Yes, I'm a big guy, but I should be weaker, and I was perfectly fine lifting more than my own body weight right now in my weakest state. So I mean, sure, if you want to be weak, because most people stop lifting heavy when they're in a cut. If you want to keep lifting heavy, you need to be eating protein. Like that's the only way about it. I promise you, if you try it, you'll probably have results. In reply to Bra's comments, he said, I mean, you wouldn't die from some potatoes or some brown rice. Research shows no extra benefits from high amounts like that. Again, this research is in most likely people who aren't training that hard. It's not bodybuilders, it's average people or people who are just getting started. And then on top of that, these people aren't pushing protein as hard as possible and working out as hard as possible. And then I think you're trying to insinuate that I'm not natural, but I am natural. I'm just a very large guy. I'm 6'9". And so yeah, as a natural, push the protein. You need it. Like most people don't get enough, like I said. And you're saying there's no added benefits. That's in terms of a cut and overall just weight loss. But if you want to keep your strength and you want to be as strong as possible in your cuts, pump that protein up. Like I'm telling you, that's the only way about it. Where are your calories and macros when you're not cutting? So honestly, like right now it's like a free-for-all. Like I'm not even tracking, I'm just eating intuitively, but I still just aim for more meat meals. I just aim for as much protein as possible. But like if I'm just in a regular kind of maintenance phase, probably like 3,000 calories, but it's literally I only count and track when I'm dieting. The rest of the time I'm just working out hard still and just trying to live a healthier lifestyle in general. Just cut out junk food, guys. It's that simple. Eat what grows in the ground or what had a mother and you'll be fine. Just meat and veggies. So yeah, just keep it simple. Cut out the processed foods. That's the main thing. Just when you're trying to get into a calorie deficit and a cut, that's the only time I track. Dark Novaskar says, you also have West African DNA. You're eating protein like people with bad muscle building genetics. Whatever, yo, throw that whole you're certain DNA out the window, because arguably, like, what are you saying? I'm eating and training like someone with bad genetics as someone with good genetics. So that's a good thing at the end. Like, why would I settle for less? That's like if you're talented, plus you're willing to work hard, you're gonna be better than someone who's just talented or someone who just works hard. So yeah, if I'm eating like someone who has bad muscle building genetics, that's a net positive. That's a good thing. That's how we should all be training. We should all train like we don't have like a good start or head start. Train like you have bad genetics, everybody. Train and eat like we have bad genetics. That's a good thing. We should all do that. So yeah, that is it. So yeah, those are my tips on how much protein you should be eating, how much protein you should be eating during a cut, responding some of the comments on my last video. So if you guys have any more comments, or if this didn't quite make sense, I got another comment saying I talk too much, so sorry about that, kind of rambling a bit. But yeah, I'm just trying to help, and I'm kind of scatterbrained with my thoughts, but I'm trying to organize it in a way just to help you guys. So even if you're not watching it in order, I'm sure you can grab some good information from this video. It's anecdotal. I have no evidence for this other than my own personal experience. So, I mean, take that with a grain of salt, but I'm not doing anything crazy. The proof is in the pudding. I'm showing you guys what I'm doing. Again, I'm natural. Like, we're not taking drugs to achieve this. So if you as a natural want similar results, I can't guarantee it, but I promise it's going to be better than not getting enough protein. So just give it a whirl. Give it a whirl and let me know what you guys think. So thank you guys for watching. Subscribe. We got a whole whack of subscribers. We went from 9 to like 32. So thank you guys for trusting me and giving me a chance, and thank you for rocking with me on this journey. So yeah, we are just going up in the world. Drop those comments, subscribe, and then I will see you guys in another video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.